Greetings, gamers! I've been in my lab, cooking up a new experimental team. Throw in 2 parts bug, 1 part robotics, with the best money we can buy, and a little bit of dark force magic. And I give you the brand new Nute-led Separatist team! This is my favorite new team to play with. I've been using it in Grand Arena since there aren't that many places that we can test out anymore. But where this team will shine is in Grand Arena and Territory Wars. So far I haven't been able to figure out a way to have it beat Jedi Knight Revan or Darth Revan. But it'll be a lot of fun, and it at least gives us the groundwork for a greater Separatist uprising once the Geonosians and new characters come out. Geonosians get their reworks and new characters come out for the new Dark Side territory battle on Geonosis. The lead for this team is going to be Nute Gunray, which hands down is the best Separatist leadership, one of the best we've gotten in a while. I like it more than Grievous, but it allows for a good balance between Grievous leading droids and Nute leading the rest of the Separatists. Count Dooku's lead I still think is a bit of a bummer. So you're always going to want to place Dooku with Nute, and I'll explain why. B1 kicks butt here. He's never really fit with Grievous. I think they really flubbed up that release, since B1, even with the Zeta, you start him with 100 stacks of Droid Battalion, he'll never increase, because even if the enemy team never hits him, he's going to lose more every time Grievous takes a turn than he gains when B1 takes a turn. So eventually, Grievous will kill B1, which is a big shame. And then the other two, the Geonosians that we haven't had a place for because their kits aren't very good. Sunfac is perfect with Nute, and Geonosian Soldier is just a good 5th. You can also swap him with Geonosian Spy, which also helps work, but I haven't decided which one I like better yet. Of the 2 teams I've gotten to test so far, the first one I'm going to show you is versus Kira-led Scoundrels. I believe it should work just as well versus Karth, but I haven't gotten to test that yet. But look at this, and you might be wondering, how can the team I just showed you beat the Zated Gear 12 Nest, Zated Gear 12 Vandor Chewbacca, L3? This team can be a pain, but not at all for these Separatists. What makes this team work is that Nute here is fantastic new leadership ability with Extortion in his kit. Extortion is a great blue status effect, not a debuff, not a buff, so it doesn't have to worry about all this can't or can't resistance anything. It'll always apply, and Extortion takes away offense and speed from the enemies, so that your team throughout this match is going to be taking laps around them with Dooku going 3 or 4 times before an enemy takes a turn. Dooku has a pretty good base speed, so to start, try to mod him with some speed. Mine only has plus 94 right here. I'm fighting a slow nest apparently, designed with high tenacity, which it should work even with a fast nest. So here we've got Dooku, and this beautiful new move that gives him riposte is how Dooku will eventually kill Nest. So he uses that, and the trick here is that all Separatists get stealth except for tanks. So Sunfac, one of the main struggles with using him is that his taunt has a 4-turn cooldown, and as soon as it gets dispelled, he's so slow that he's out of the match, can't do anything. But now thanks to Dooku's stealth, the rest of the team is all stealthed, and the enemy has to hit Sunfac. So they have to make Sunfac counter, and they have to make Sunfac remove their buffs. Normally, if you tried to run Grievous lead or any team with B1, this enemy team would destroy him with counters. Enemy or B1 wants to do his AoE, you'll get a counter from Nest, a counter from L3, a counter from Vandor Chewbacca, and once you get a taunt up on Zalbar, that's another counter, so they'll quickly obliterate him. But because Dooku put stealth on him, we can freely do as many of these as quickly as possible and never have to worry about counters. I'm still working on it, but I think that this team will have potential versus a CLS lead as well. So we go ahead and do AoE. Now we get the first extortion up on L3. And look at that! L3's taunt went away. Every time L3 gets a taunt, it's just going to go right away. And the extortion here, as we attack other characters, L3 will keep taking frequent turns, which means L3 will keep spreading the extortion throughout the team. GEOS Soldier does his assist move. Dooku counters, and now there you can already see the beauty of Riposte, this new buff for Dooku, where it ignores protection if he attacks out of turn. We've almost got the low health Kira. She's already below half health. I love Dooku's rework and how frequently he's doing debuffs. Sun Fac gets to dispel. I should have done a basic, but I guess they're about to come out of stealth, and so I'm worried that I need him to be taunting. See right there? Now we remove the buffs. Now we can go back to Vandor Chewbacca. And see, with the extortion, sure, the enemy can just get rid of it the first chance they take. But with Dooku constantly putting stun, they won't be able to remove it, so it'll get spread, and there's nothing they can do. Let's go ahead and wipe out Vandor. Look, this whole match, never get to keep a taunt up on L3. Boom! Disappears! And see, Kira, what I love about the extortion is that not only does it give them minus offense and speed, but it's essentially a delayed cooldown increase. Because Kira had to waste her whole turn just to give us profit, which will now increase our crit chance and crit damage. I love this team for offense because you can really jack with the AI. And I really don't see the enemies taking very many turns. And all my protection is very high. B1 is keeping them all topped off very nicely. I've got my Sun Fac modded for, I think, 70 or 80,000 protection. So it's going to take a long time for them to chew through this. And then simply have B1 give him 50% more. I'm going to easily finish this with hopefully a 60 perfect score. Okay, now we're getting down to where it's just these two countering and dealing damage. And even a lone Nest has always been a big struggle, a big pain. But we put the stealth up, so now we can't be countered by Nest. Nest wasted the whole turn getting rid of the extortion. We're just going to reapply it. So Nute's just taken one turn. Now we've got shock so that Nest can't heal health. Nute takes a second turn. And look, all these assists from Nute Special and from Geonosian Soldier. A Dooku with Riposte is going to ignore this huge protection up. And that's how he's going to rip through and kill Nest. Go ahead and add another extortion, which they don't stack, just reapplying it. I'm topping off everybody so that they're all at full. Now before the match ends, I want to show you. B1 In a Grievous team, you're never able to get him above 100 stacks. Here, with these mini turns and never getting countered, 145. 145! That means we've got 73% tenacity boost for the whole team, 73% crit avoidance for the whole team. That's why I think even versus a CLS team, we'll rip away all that huge crit chance they get. And hopefully the tenacity will make it so that even with C3PO, it'll be difficult for them to land debuffs on my Sunfac. And boom! 60 banners, Nest just got wiped out. With bugs! And Dooku! Separatist! This is crazy! Now the other team I've gotten to test it against is a Bosk lead Bounty Hunters with B2 meant to get rid of any kind of Imperial Trooper counter. This is a 286 speed Bosk, and my fastest tune is a 261 speed Count Dooku. And this Zeta on Bosk is for the leadership, not the taunt reapplies whenever an enemy, the weakest enemy with protection still up. But even if he did have this Zeta, thanks to extortion, I don't think Bosk would ever have a taunt up, just like L3s would constantly go away. So Bosk has just used his taunt, and then now our Dooku, who is very fast, was able to outspeed the Boba Fett, who's at 217 or so. We're gonna use Riposte, Extortion. Now the first time one of these enemies uses their specials, Bosk is gonna take his turn, and then spread Extortion. Now it's unfortunate that we're losing our stealth, but hopefully we can still make it through this. See, Bosk just lost everything. He lost his Frenzy so that he can keep taking turns, and he lost his taunt. It wouldn't have stayed because, even if he had the Zeta, because our weakest tune, our B1 battle droid, only has 1 health and 0 protection. Another good thing for having him on the team versus Bounty Hunters. So because Bosk will never get to actually keep a taunt, we're free to target whoever we want and get rid of this B2 so that our stealths will actually stay. Now before anyone gets the chance to actually take a turn and maybe cleanse the extortion, we want to use Dooku to give them a stun or give them an ability block. Let's have B1 just keep topping everybody off. Dengar's being a real pain and causing a lot of damage to our B1. Okay, now look at what just happened. Boss just got to do his mass assist. Okay, he's attacking a Gear 10 Nute Gunray with low health. I tried to mod with as much protection and speed since his damage is never, his offense is never taken into account. So the mass assist from these bounty hunters is doing little 2,000, 1,000 hits. And because my B1 is stealthed, the contract is never able to go off for the bounty hunters, as they need to get 10 hits onto B1. The battle's going to go a lot smoother now, since we got B2 out of the way and can keep stealth on everybody except for Sunfac. Our damage output is weak, but because we're taking so many frequent turns, it adds up. If they ever do get the chance to stay out of stun, and they get rid of some of these extortions, we'll finally get some payoffs to increase our damage. That's one of the reasons why I like having Geonosian Soldier here, because he's actually pretty powerful. I don't have the best mods on him, but you can see we just got a 15k hit. With some extortion, it could be better. There we go. We got one extortion. Or one extortion turned to profit. Our B1 was at, I think, 60 before battalion droids. And now we're finally getting it built up to increase our crit avoidance and our tenacity. Now we're just going to focus on Bosk. Look at all the health protection. Still lots of lives left for B1. This is so much fun. Great for Grand Arena. And for anybody that still places bounty hunters or scoundrels on defense during territory war, a very cheap, reliable, and effective counter team. And see, with extortion, once Dengar takes a turn, both these buffs are going to go away. And extortion will always be applied because it's a blue status effect, not a debuff, a status effect. The best way to mod your team, we'll go through each character. So for Nute, his only attack that does anything with damage is his basic, and we don't care about his wet noodle little gun here. And so just focus on getting his speed up. Some potency can help for his speed down from dubious dealings, and because his cooldown increased on Motivate can be resisted. But for the most part, just get speed on him and protection for the primaries here. Since we have B1 to heal protection, don't try and mess with his low health pool. Really focus on protection so that when it starts to get down, B1 can top him off, heal him back up. I've got plus 98 speed, so that he's 248. B1 is real easy to mod because health is useless, protection's useless, crit damage useless, crit chance useless. All you want on him is offense and speed. For the secondary set, you can either do potency. I chose tenacity just because that's where I had my best offense mods that weren't being used. For Dooku, I put speed because it's really important. The faster he goes, the faster you can get stealth up, the more enemies you can make attack Sunfac. If I had the Zeta, every time either Soldier or Nute would call him to assist, he would be dealing more damage, recover protection for himself, and gain crit hit immunity. This happens when attacking out of turn, not just when countering. Let's see, I've been able to get him up. His stats are pretty low, so I've got him to 36,000 protection and 261 speed. His natural potency is through the roof. But if you are struggling, if you're fighting a team, like maybe a Bastilla lead that this could be good for, since he's ignoring protection, maybe you would want to stack some more potency on him, which is real easy to do. For Sunfac, just throw tons of protection on him and tenacity. The tenacity that he has, I put 90% on him. At the start of the match, since B1 with the Zeta has 100 stacks of droid battalion, that means my Sunfac has 186% tenacity right at the very start of the match. And as the droid battalions grow on B1, his tenacity will get even higher. For Geonosian Soldier, I don't have the best mods. Didn't want to invest too much in him. So all I've put are some health ones. I think that you should go with crit damage set with a crit chance secondary. He's already got a lot of crit chance, but even mine wasn't getting critical hits sometimes. He's going to go often, thanks to getting 50% turn meter every time he does a critical hit. So pump this number up. Pump it higher than I have it. But this is about 40% naturally. Plus, with 2 Geonosians on the team, he gets a plus 18%. So we're almost at 60% without having a crit chance triangle, any crit chance, anything. The reason why I didn't worry about putting crit chance on him was the extortions. Once he gets 5 stacks, he'll be at 100% crit chance, even like he currently is. If you're curious what to do with the rest of your Separatists, the rest of your droids, this is the lineup I recommend. In defense, put Grievous lead, B2, Magna Guard, L3, and Imperial Probe droid. So unfortunately, letting the AI make the decisions, you could end up with B1 trying to heal Nute or Dooku just because they have a lower total, even though Sunfac is all out of protection and really needs the boost. I don't expect the developers to worry about it or make a change, but that would be great if they could improve his AI, just like they did with Thrawn back in the day, to have B1 target the ally who's missing the most percentage of their combined total. So if Sunfac is 130k total of health and protection, and he's down 50% of it to only 65k, he should be the one targeted, not the Nute, whose total of both at full health is 50,000. But yeah, that's this team. I like it a lot. Let me know in the comments or at my Discord what your experiences are with it, what other teams you're able to beat. I've shown Separatists and Bounty Hunters in this one. In Grand Arena, I was able to do it very well against Bastilla leads. Granted, they weren't the strongest, and we don't see those very often, but it's good to know that they can beat them. And when I get the chance, and I'm feeling brave enough, I'm going to take this team against a CLS lead and see how I can do with them versus that. This is SirG, signing out. May God bless, and may the Force be with you.